Believe it or not, this is my first sermon. I'm far from being a rabbi, but I'm a fellow seeker of Torah. I'm nervous and honored, deeply grateful for being here with you. This is by far the most beautiful synagogue I've ever been to. So thank you for having me. So let's talk about this week's parasha. In it, we meet 5 remarkable women: Machala, Noah, Hogla, Milka, and Tirza, the daughters of Tzalpachad. Their father dies, and they have no brother, so there's no male heir, and they stand to inherit nothing. So what do? They don't accept it quietly. They don't say, oh, well, this is how it's always been. Tough luck. Our father's name will disappear, right? They march up to Moses and the other elders, and they say, why should our father's name disappear from his clan just because he had no son? Give us a holding among our father's kinsmen. And what's remarkable is that Moses doesn't say, hey, tough luck, this is the law. We can't change the law. He goes to God to consult on this matter. And God says, you know what? They're right. This is injustice. We need to fix it. So what does that story teach us? It teaches us something profound. You don't just accept things the way it is. When you engage with Torah, you engage with it, right? You have to see it in a different light. Okay, so I want to acknowledge something that many of us wrestle with, especially in communities like this, that can Torah be ours if we don't believe in it literally, that everything written in it actually happened? Like the story of those 5 sisters, which may or may have not happened, I don't know. If we read it in modern eyes, if we question what our ancestors may have said before us, or if we ask questions that they couldn't have even thought about with knowledge they couldn't have had. The daughters of Tzalpachad faced their own version of this question. They could have said, well, that's a law, that's tradition, let's not question it. But instead, they changed it. And through that change, they transformed it. So can we still say it's ours, even if we don't believe every word that happened, just as it is? I think of Torah like reading your family's love letters. Whether every detail in the letter is exactly what happened, that doesn't really matter. Our relationship is described in those letters. The love is real, the connection across generations is real. Whether every fact in it is real, it doesn't really matter. It's beautiful. When we read Torah, we're not just reading ancient stories, we're reading our family's love letter to eternity. Torah is a mirror that grows with us. The rabbis knew this, and they told a remarkable story about this. So the story goes like this. In Talmud, Moses is going up to Mount Sinai, and you'll recall in the story, he waits a long time. So he asks, Moses asking God, who's holding you back, Master of the universe? And God replies, there is a man who will arise at the end of many generations, Akiva ben Yosef by name, who will expound upon each crown mountains and mountains of laws. Moses says, oh, show him to me. So God does this magic trick, tells Moses to turn around, he turns around. And when he turns back, he suddenly, like through a time machine, appears in the future at the entrance to Rabbi Akiva's Bet Midrash. And he enters in, sits in the back rows, and listens to what Rabbi Akiva is teaching his students. And he understands nothing. This makes him a little sad that this is what happened to my Torah, what's going on? And then, as he's listening, sad in the back row, sulking, one of the students asked Rabbi Akiva, Master, from where do you derive this? And Akiva answers, it is law given to Moses in Sinai. Hearing this, Moses sighs, oh, okay, it's still my Torah. Even if I can't understand it, it's still the same thing. So think about that. Moses himself, Moses couldn't understand the Torah as it was being taught in Rabbi Akiva's days, and yet Akiva insists this is the same Torah that Moses received. That's our tradition. This is the tradition of the daughters of Tzedfachad began. Each generation doesn't just receive Torah, they recreate it. Ben Bagbag said, turn it and turn it, for everything is in it. The daughters turned the law and found injustice that needed correction. Rabbi Akiva turned it and found meanings that Moses couldn't even think of. Medieval philosophers turned it and found theology. Poets turned it and found beauty. This isn't betraying Torah, this is Torah. The turning, the wrestling, the questioning, the discovering of meaning no one saw before. That's what makes Torah alive, and that's what makes Torah ours. Torah is ours because we study it. It's ours because we wrestle with it. Torah is ours because, like Machala, Noah, Hogla, Milka, and Tirza, we refuse to accept justice when we see it, just because that's the way it was. Torah is ours because we choose again and again to be in a relationship with it, because we show up Shabbat after Shabbat to listen to its voice and add our own voice. Because when we see something that doesn't sit right, we don't ignore it, we engage with it. Every time you ask, what does this mean to me? You're making Torah yours. Every time you find yourself challenged, inspired, comforted, confused by its words, you're standing beside the daughters of Tzedfachad. You're in a great conversation that connects us to every generation that came before us and every generation yet to come. As we continue today, this weekend, may this be a Shabbat of turning of Torah over together. May we find in the courage of Machala, Noah, Hogla, Milka, and Tirza the strength to engage, not as passive listeners, but as active partners in Torah's ongoing unfolding. May we turn it and turn it in faith, in doubt, in love. And in that turning, may Torah become most truly ours. Shabbat Shalom.